Hi, I'm Geoff from Rig Hand Distillery, and you're listening to Coffee in the Park with Jennifer and Cam.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coffee in the Park with Jennifer and Cam. And we are coming to you this morning again live from the Wall Coffee Roasters in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. So if you hear some noise in the background, some machines whirring, people talking, kids, no kids today.
It is busy in the coffee shop. It is busy in the
coffee shop. No kids though, but the noise you hear in the background is because we do the podcast in the coffee shop live.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing.
It's coffee and conversation.
Coffee and conversation in the park. Jennifer, it's not very sunny out today. I know, we keep talking about the weather. But you know what?
I think that's our shtick. I think people have come to listen to the podcast to hear the weather update.
Well, because we have listeners literally all around the world.
We really do.
And I'm sure people are always wondering, probably daily, what's the weather like in beautiful downtown Atchison? And so that's why we feel we need to tell you. It's what?
It's brutal.
It's brutal. It is brutal. It's very brutal. But the other thing we need to tell you is that Coffee in the Park is brought to you by Wing Snob Canada, where
the wings are fresh, never frozen.
That's
with
right.
16 different flavors and 4 rubs.
And they have all kinds of really cool stuff, cornbread and fries and parm fries and all kinds of things. So if you're looking for something for dinner tonight, I would highly recommend checking out Wing Snob.
Yes.
10 locations. 8 in Edmonton, 1 in Calgary, 1 in Grand Prairie. And check it out. Wing Snob.
Yeah, and like Cam said, if you don't know what to do for dinner, you can go or order it.
Yeah, skip.
Yeah.
Skip. Do the skip.
Do the skip.
The skip thing, yeah. And check it out. So thank you, Wing Snob, for making this happen all the time. I'm not going to lie. It's been a bit of a frustrating morning. We've had some technical difficulties. Some glitches.
Our guest has been very patient.
Our guest has been more than patient. And he's on his 14th cup of coffee. No, I'm just kidding. But we finally got it figured out, I hope. And I think we do. So I don't want to stop. I want to keep going.
We're just going to keep going.
That's right, because it's really cool.
Quickly.
And why don't we I'm very excited about today's guest. The beauty of having these technical difficulties is he's been able to tell us about everything he does. And so I can hardly wait to tell our listeners everything he does.
I agree.
So Jennifer, why don't you introduce our guest?
Okay, our guest today is Geoff Stewart, the owner of Rig Hand Distillery. Welcome, Geoff.
Thank you for having me this morning. I'm only on my third.
Yeah, that's right. I was slight exaggeration there, but you have been so patient with us. Yes. And this is really awesome because this is a really cool story this morning. But let's start out where we always start out.
We have to start out at the very beginning. We need to know, Geoff, where were you born, and tell us about growing up.
I was born in Woodstock, New Brunswick, so I'm a Maritimer originally. Yes, absolutely.
Not Woodstock, Ontario.
No, my mom's side of the family's from there, and then my dad's side of the family had a farm in southern Saskatchewan, in Gull Lake, Saskatchewan. Not too far from
so that's what we figured out. Technical difficulties here. Yeah, okay.
So growing up, I moved a lot, actually. I don't meet many people that have moved more than me other than military brats. I've moved 48 times.
48 times.
And I'm 56 years old, but most of that was before I was 13 years old. But when I was 13, my family moved to Spruce Grove, just down the road.
Not far.
And so Atchison's very familiar to me.
Wow,
I went to the U of A. That's where I met my wife, and had different jobs all over the province, but ended up back in the Edmonton area about 20 years ago. And decided to start looking for a bit of a career change.
Right. Yes. So what did you take at U of A? What was your degree?
Some people say ADHD is a problem.
We're not going to say.
I think it's a superpower.
Superpower.
So I did some science. I didn't like that.
Okay.
Then I did some business.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I got a kid on the way. I better get serious. So I went back and did some more science and did my application, got into dental school for a degree in dental hygiene.
Okay.
Because dental hygiene was 2 years shorter than dentistry.
Right.
I needed to start paying for some dentistry.
I've heard dentistry is very difficult to get into.
It is. Hygiene is too, actually. No, and back then they only took about 50 candidates a year, so I was lucky enough to get in there. I'd worked with a couple dentists in Spruce Grove through high school as work experience to find out if I liked it or not before I wasted half my life going to university for it. And one of them still still practicing, Dr. Chris Calls,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
So I worked with him in 1987.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduated, got your degree in dental hygiene.
Started doing it, and I loved it for the first 11 and a half months.
I like that. Oh, it's been a slow year.
You know exactly. It was at that point at 11 and a half months where you said...
Well, this kind of goes back to the ADHD thing.
Right.
Like, if you've got an active mind and your job is doing the exact same thing every day, you're looking for some variety. So you needed to get some side hustle going, or you needed to do something different. So back then, this was before anybody had tattoos other than bikers and guys that had been in prison. But I could kind of see that there was a trend coming. So I talked this dirty old biker into teaching me how to do tattoos.
No, come on. No, wait a minute.
I figured
this didn't come up even in the pre-conversation. So you went from dental hygiene to tattoo.
I still did the dental stuff because it paid the bills.
Right.
And then I think if you do something, you should do it right.
Right.
So I ended up going back and taking night classes to get my fine arts degree. And I've always been adamant that quality wins no matter what business.
Right. Yeah.
So these guys that were doing the same designs that have been around for 100 years were doing
Skulls
a certain quality.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up owning 6 tattoo shops all over the province at different times, but I would only hire people at the shops that had a fine art degree or a graphic artist.
Really?
So the quality of the work that we were doing was much better.
This is incredible.
My most high-end shop was in Commerce Place on Jasper Ave, right beside Lux Steakhouse.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Really?
And the going rate for tattoos at the time was
Holy
about $75 an hour.
Yeah.
We were
Really?
charging $210 an hour because we were doing a better quality of
this
everybody
is just blowing my mind. By day, you're in people's mouths. I mean, working on their dental things and doing, and that's a captive audience. So you're telling them, hey, you need a tattoo.
Very much.
And at
captive
night,
audience.
you're
there's lots of similarities.
Yeah.
They're both finicky hand-eye coordinated jobs.
Yeah.
Sterilization is very important.
yes.
in both
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
They're both where you're trying to get somebody through something that's not
Yeah.
the most comfortable,
Yeah.
as comfortably as possible. But one is much more fun, an event for a creative mind.
And
right?
and if
Yeah.
you screw up in both, you're in big trouble.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's some bad tattoo.
There are.
So, sorry, you own 6 tattoos.
I did own 6 tattoo shops, but then I saw the industry plateauing. So sold them off to whoever was the most promising person.
Right.
And then I looked, I had other side businesses all
Yeah.
through my career too, but what's the next big trend? And the next big trend I saw coming at that time was craft beer.
Okay.
So I started doing research into craft
yeah.
beer, but by the time I researched it, there was too many people doing it already. So I thought, no, this isn't going to work. But all the jurisdictions where craft beer became legal, about 2 or 3 years later, craft distilling became legal, and nobody was doing that yet here.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, if we can be first at this, we could probably do really well if this blows up like craft beer did. So
interesting.
I had some friends that were politicians, a couple MLA buddies.
Right.
And they're like, hey, these...
You want to name them, eh?
No, because I got inside info from
that's
them.
right. Okay, yeah, no.
And so they said, hey, we know you're interested in this. We're going to change the rules to allow craft distilling in a couple of years. So if you're serious, get real serious. So I took time off doing dental stuff, and I went down to Seattle and did a course with guys to learn how the business part of it worked.
Right.
And then I went to Ohio and I did an apprenticeship with a bourbon distiller in Ohio.
So you're saying, though, that before this, it was just the big distilleries? It was the big...
That's right. There was only 8 in the country. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was illegal. So I bought a still. And my buddy Mike would come over on a Sunday afternoon with a case of beer. And, you know, the internet's a beautiful place. You can figure out some recipes and stuff.
A little YouTube
on the distillery process.
So, we would sit there on a Saturday for like 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
And this moonshine would come out of this still, one drip at a time. And we thought it tasted good. At the end of 6 hours, we'd have one whole cup. And we thought it tasted fantastic, but I think the reason we thought that was because we drank that case of beer. When I was getting going with the business, I asked my friend Mike if he was interested in coming working with me as my general manager. And at first he wasn't keen on it, but eventually he did warm up to it. So I sent him off to school as well. And he's actually been training in the number one schnapps distiller in the world in Germany for the last number of years.
Okay.
So by the time the laws changed, we'd spent a couple of years educating ourselves, mucked around in the garage enough to know how dangerous we could be, and then went to school to learn how to do it properly. I think a lot of guys that did move into our industry went from a hobbyist to just a bigger hobby.
Right. You put the education behind it.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
Were you still dental hygiene?
Absolutely.
And then on the weekends.
And then on the weekends.
And tattooing.
This is the greatest story. Dental hygiene, tattooing, and now we're distilling.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. So
two are legal, one's not quite.
But through the 28 years dental hygiene and tattoo work, I actually started having problems with my arm.
Oh, okay. And
I needed to do something different. So my joke is when I bring glass up to my mouth, that's different muscles in my arm.
Different arm.
But it was just time for a different
change.
career change.
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky because the distilling industry, this active brain that I have, there's an outlet for it every day.
Right.
There's something new challenge, new product we develop, new advertising scheme we come up with. What way can we have to get an advantage over the competition?
So just to be clear, so everybody understands, it's not craft beer.
No.
It's not craft beer.
Although...
Okay.
That's going to be breaking news.
I was going to say, we love breaking news on the podcast. So,
no.
Or will that be part two? But
that was one of the challenges we had when we started. We were the second ones to get licensed. My buddy Dave at Eau Claire Distillery in Southern Alberta were the first. And when we started telling people, hey, we got this craft distillery going, they said, what kind of beer do you make? I said, no, not beer. Hard liquor. Oh, is that even legal? Well, it wasn't until they just changed.
You got it legal,
And the fine for doing it in your garage is $220,000 if you get caught. It still is today, actually. $220 grand.
I watched enough old movies of down south when the guys were doing it way back in the forest.
Absolutely, it's a tax evasion charge that they get.
That's right. Yeah.
One bottle has over $17 of tax on it. So you're getting big trouble if you're doing that.
Okay, so you're in your garage
illegally.
I gotta illegally. Track this. Illegally. No address is given or anything like that.
I sold that place now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a tattoo parlor. No,
I still have that still though.
Okay, so you got that still. You're making it. At what point did you say to yourself, I think we have a business here. I think we have something here.
Right from when I started. Right from when I bought that still. It was always the intention to create a business out of it. First to market is huge. And when we weren't first to market, when this other guy beat us to market, I was pretty disappointed. But I thought, okay, well, what's our next strategy? Okay, let's try and become the biggest little one. And so we put our foot on the gas right to the mat and haven't really taken it off in almost 12 years.
And
so you got the regulation.
We've got 86 different kinds of hard liquor that we make. We probably about 6 years ago had a fella in our tasting room grumbling away that the bank wouldn't loan me money to start a craft beer place. And the banks had identified the same thing I did. There was too many
going on,
And this guy actually made really good beer. He was part of the Home Brewers Guild that meets at Alley Cat Brewery. He won every award in every competition. So I said, hey, if you want, I'll add a beer license to my distilling license. And I'll front you a little bit. And then you work out of here for a year. And then you go back to the bank with your proven sales, and they'll give you money to start your own. And that was 6 years ago, and he never left. So, so we make Angus makes about a dozen different types of craft beer. He doesn't get out there like some of the craft beer guys do with the triple hop mango, pine cone, whatever. He makes a Pilsner. He makes a lager.
The real deal.
The beer that a guy that works in a welding shop in Nisku, which is 3 minutes down the road from us, will actually come after work and have one. So, And what's cool about that is I learned how to make rum and whiskey and vodka and gin and all that stuff. I did not learn how to make beer. I still don't know how to make beer. So it's cool when you're sitting in our little restaurant that if you're having a drink, it's made in our building. Like everything is. And we make a bit of wine and a little bit of mead too, because we helped a mead guy get off the ground. And to do mead, you have to have a wine license.
So now you're in your grad. Keep going back to that.
No problem.
You figured it out. You've got a license, I guess, or you get a license. And so then what was the next step? It was obviously
looking for
leaving the garage and
finding a location, getting all the licensing with AGLC, and getting a fire marshal that's going to let you set up in a building where they're worried if you do something wrong, you're going to blow everybody up. We looked at properties all the way from Wabamun to Pigeon Lake to Tofield. We thought it was important to be on the south side of the city where a lot of traffic heads towards Calgary and Red Deer and that sort of thing. And we ended up landing in Nisku for the most part because of fire zoning regulations. They were the most willing to work with us. And the Leduc Business Park and Nisku Business Park are very business friendly. Their application process for development's easy.
Nisku's oil and gas, so there's other things that could blow up too.
Well, that's where the fire marshal came in and looked at us, and he says,
You're not wrong.
This is all you're doing, go ahead.
Okay, so this is great, and I love this story, and you're making it actually sound easy. But I know, we all know that's not... What were some of the, outside of getting it licensed and approved, what were the biggest challenges? Like
the first year into business, actually, our name was not Rig Hand Distillery when we started.
Okay, what was it?
So our original name of our company was Big Rig Distillery.
Big Rig.
It had a ring to it, right?
Big Rig,
And we used a lawyer, and we did trademark searches, and we knew there was Big Rig driver training and Big Rig collision repair on Calgary Trail and all these places. It turns out there was an NHL hockey player in Ottawa whose nickname was Big Rig that he trademarked.
Okay.
So, but we knew about it.
Yeah.
No issue.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We start up. 9 months later, we got a cease and desist letter from his lawyer saying you can't use that name anymore. And we're like, why? Because he bought into a brewery. And all of a sudden there was a Big Rig brewery.
Yes.
Right.
And I said to my lawyer, I'm like, I thought you checked this out.
Your former lawyer.
Exactly. So what do we do here? And he says, well, his trademark predates you, even though the brewery purchase came after. You can either change your name or you can try and fight him. And I was full of piss and vinegar, so we decided to fight him. And $97,000 later, I changed my name to Rig Hand Distillery. So expensive, very expensive lesson.
So all you young entrepreneurs out there, this is a very good trademark.
Make sure you get a trademark lawyer.
That's right.
Very important.
Get a good trademark lawyer. Yes, exactly.
So that was a big hiccup.
And a costly one.
Obviously,
not just the legal side of it, but now you have to remarket, rebrand everything. Yeah.
And then I guess our next biggest hiccup we had was about 6 years ago. We started a distillery in Texas. We've got our bottle looks like an oil drilling rig.
You got one sitting here.
I want to talk about that.
That's and we really thought, cool. We're selling lots of these in Alberta. Where's the next place that does oil and gas? Well, Texas. There's 28 million people there.
Right.
In Alberta, we're doing pretty good with 4 million, so just times all the numbers by 7, right?
Yeah.
And so we set up a facility down there, and it went well for the first little while, but then when Mr. Trump came along and the tariff stuff happened, and there was just compounding factors led to the point where we had to shut that Texas facility down. So that was a big hit for us to shut that down. That happened 2.5, 3 years ago.
Right.
And we're just finally coming out of that now. We lost contracts in Texas, Arizona, Alaska because of that.
Wow.
So this tariff thing has really affected our business in a negative way.
But
also in a positive.
Really something. Actually,
So when the ban came on for U.S. alcohol coming into Canada, the bourbon ban, well, we're one of the few places in Canada that has 10-year-old bourbon. So we started selling a heck of a lot of our corn whiskey. We're not allowed to call it bourbon in Canada, but we started selling an awful lot of it once the tariff situation made that happen. So there's pluses and minuses to the politics that happen. We've decided to just turn away from the U.S. market for now. Our people we've worked with before, the liquor store chains and whatnot, and have been apologetic about the Trump effect. And I've said to them, is this opportunity still going to be here for us down the road when maybe he's not here anymore? And they're all like, yeah, for sure. So sorry. So right now we're turning our attention to Japan, actually.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
We started shipping some of our whiskey over there.
Okay.
And there's some good opportunities over there. And the federal government is actually really pushing for all industry to develop markets away from the U.S.
The U.S.
So they're helping us a little bit with that, which is nice too.
Well, we got a trade mission coming up, but we'll talk about that a little bit.
There we go.
I want to go back to the bottle though.
Oh yes.
Because and we'll put a picture up on our social media. But the bottle, tell us about the creation of this bottle and why you decided to go with this.
Well, I always figure you've got to stand out from the crowd somehow.
Yes.
Whether it's a weird flavor that you do or the way you do your marketing. And when I would go into the Wine and Beyond in Windermere, I look at the shelves, and they literally have 6,700 products.
I know.
Yeah.
And it just
It's overwhelming.
It kind of all blurs together.
Yeah.
I call it Toys R Us for adults.
Absolutely.
But it does blur together.
That's right. Yeah.
And the only bottle that stood out to me at that time was that Crystal Skull, Dan Aykroyd's Crystal
the
Skull
one with the
vodka.
vodka,
Because it had such a distinct shape to it. And I thought, I got to make a different shape. And I couldn't
draw the eye.
and something that reflected Alberta. I was thinking about a drill bit at one time from a drilling rig or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I was commuting from the city out to Leduc, Nisku area, every day. And one day I was driving by the Leduc No. 1 rig that was in the park at Gateway Park. Yeah. And as I drive by, I'm like, why don't I just make it look like that? As I'm staring up at the thing. So,
and the sad news on that is they took that down, which I think was a dumb idea. But it's still somewhere in the city.
It's in Devon.
And we'll get it back up.
It's over in Devon
it's over
now
at number one, right?
At number one,
that's
but the power of this bottle design, I'll tell you, because it ties back into the name change that we had.
Right.
So when we changed our name, at the top of our label it used to say Big Rig, and we changed it to say Rig Hand.
Yeah.
And when we sent the new bottles out, not one liquor store noticed the new name on the label.
Really?
They all pulled that bottle out of the case and went, oh, that's the drilling rig bottle. It goes on this shelf right here.
Yeah.
So it showed me the power of the branding was in the packaging for us.
It's a great bottle.
And so did it take you a long time to find somebody to make that bottle for you?
It did. Unfortunately, there's no glass bottle manufacturers in Canada or U.S.
Really?
The last one that closed was in Medicine Out, Alberta, at the Delta Pottery.
Yeah.
So the manufacturers are all overseas.
Really?
So everybody who gets their bottles it's overseas.
Yes, unfortunately.
Isn't
And
that
our
something?
number one principle is to source local.
I
Right?
didn't know that.
So we want
Could be a
to.
business opportunity.
There is
here
a
for
huge
people.
business opportunity.
Could be a business
You
opportunity.
need sand, natural gas, and an aluminum mold that a machinist makes.
And how about a PhD in glass?
I don't know.
Because we have one.
Do you?
So,
Oh,
yes,
there you
we do. So anyways.
I will. So even if it was locally made, by the principles of craft, say it was double the price, I would be obligated as a craft producer to buy from you at double the price, then to import it from Asia or Mexico or wherever else it could come from.
Well, that's another podcast, and we'll figure that figure that one out off air. And, Anyway, that's really cool. That's really something. Okay, so now you're out of your garage. You're distilling in Nisku,
renting space. Me and Mike and a lovely lady named Joanne answering the phones.
Yes.
And within 6 weeks, our 2,500 square foot bay was not big enough. And we had to rent another one and hire 12 people.
Within 6 weeks.
And then 6 weeks later, we had to rent another building 2 blocks away and hire 12 more people. And then about 6 months later, we had to rent another building and hire a bunch more people. We blew up.
Are you a public company? Because I'm buying shares. This is
not yet.
Not yet. Well, let me know when you become one.
Well, you know what, though? When you grow that fast,
yeah,
all your profit goes back into growth.
Right?
And then you are crazy and you start something in Texas.
Yeah.
And then a couple years after that, I decided, well, maybe we should start one of these out east. Where I'm from originally,
Right, yeah.
So we built one in New Brunswick as well, and my cousin Kevin runs the one in New Brunswick there. So we ended up with 3 facilities, but it was part of a global strategy.
Yeah.
Everybody else that starts a craft distillery, say somebody starts up in Stony Plain or in Villeneuve or someplace like that, their idea is to source ingredients from the local farmers, hire local people to make stuff, and sell back to the local economy, create a circular economy. We had the same model. It's just we wanted our community to be half the planet from the day that we started.
Okay, so
if I have a distribution point here in the west, a distribution point on the east coast, and one south, I can easily ship all over the world.
Let's go back and just talk about this, because a lot of people are listening to us, and they're hearing about whiskey and all these things. How do you make it? Like people don't, we drink it.
Absolutely.
We have no idea. When I listen to you talk and all that's involved in this, how do you make it?
There's a lot to it for sure.
Yeah.
So the question I get asked a lot, what is whiskey? What's classified as whiskey?
I think that's where I'm going.
First off, whiskey is a broad category that includes bourbon, includes Scotch, includes Irish whiskey, includes there's a whole bunch of other whiskeys that fall under the broad whiskey classification, and most of them are defined by what they're made from.
Okay.
So Scotch is made from malted barley in Scotland, and it's in a barrel for at least 3 years. Bourbon is made from at least 51% corn, and it's been in a barrel that's never been used for anything before for at least 2 years.
Okay.
Now, of all the different designations around the world, the one that's the most lax is Canada. Okay.
Good old Canada.
Good old Canada.
Canada says, make it from some...
where you want. Yeah, that's right.
Make it from some kind of grain. And stick it in some kind of barrel for at least 3 years.
Right. In some kind of barrel that who knows what it's been used for.
So I can make Canadian whiskey from wheat. I can make Canadian whiskey from rye grain. I can make Canadian whiskey from barley. I can make it from corn. I can make it from a combination of those in different ratios, right? And so the Canadian whiskey classification is kind of strange. And if you look at the world economy, though, when it comes to whiskey, the rest of the world looks at Canada as rye whiskey producers.
Yes, right.
That's what we're known for, right?
Right.
The U.S. is known for bourbon.
Yes.
Right. You know, that's kind of how it is, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing right now in the craft industry is worldwide, the supply of Scotch is dwindling. So the average price of a bottle of Scotch has been going up really steeply.
Okay.
So the little guys look at where can I get the most return.
Yeah.
So a lot of the small distillers are making Scotch-style whiskey. They're making it from malted barley.
Okay.
And anticipation to be able to sell it for $400, $500, $600 down the road. Because that's what a lot of Scotches are selling for right now. I think they might be making a bit of a mistake. Because if I want Scotch, I'm going to go to Scotland.
Right.
And if I want bourbon, I'm going to go to a distillery from the United States.
Right.
And if I want rye, I'm going to go to a distillery in Canada.
Right.
So we really make a lot of rye whiskey.
Right.
We're really focused on rye.
Okay.
We were very fortunate about 6 years ago, submitted our rye whiskey to the House of Commons into a competition to be considered as the official whiskey of Canada.
Really?
The Speaker of the House of Commons runs this competition. It's open to any company in the world. That particular year, 158 companies sent their whiskeys. We shortlisted to the 6 they did a double-blind taste test on, and we won 90% of the votes in the double-blind taste test. So our rye whiskey was the official whiskey of Canada for the last 6 years up until about a month ago. It's the most significant thing that ever happened to our company.
Yeah.
And it made international news because it was the first time that they've actually picked a Canadian whiskey to represent Canada. They picked a Scotch in the past.
Right.
And I'm like, well, why in the hell are they not picking a Canadian?
Why a Canadian?
So,
Exactly.
you remember how before I told you there was only 8 distilleries before craft became legal?
Yeah, now there's...
Well, there was
how many now?
only 4 or 5 of them made whiskey, right? So if you got Crown Royal and stuff, Canadian Mist, and these poor quality whiskeys or medium quality whiskeys competing against 18-year-old Scotches, then you don't win a double-blind taste test. But the craft industry is focused completely on quality. We can't out-volume Smirnoff. We can't out-volume Jack Daniels.
Right.
But we can make a better quality in a smaller batch. So now you've got distilleries that are getting to be 6, 8, 10, 12 years old, focused completely on quality. I actually don't think you'll ever see it not be a Canadian one again. But the fact that we were first made international news.
That's incredible. I mean, and it begs the question, is this the whiskey that they drink in the House of Parliament? And how much? Anyway, that's a whole
The joke is it's the only time they got something right there. They all agreed for once.
The fact that it's the official whiskey
so the one that just replaced us last month is a Canadian one. From Ontario, actually. But all of a sudden, my inbox on my emails was distributors from Norway, Denmark, Taiwan. Hey, we saw you won this award. We want to be your distributor.
Of course,
So that was a huge opening of the world market for us. So that's part of the reason we're shipping to Japan right now.
Okay, gin.
Yes, Gin is made from vodka. Gin is vodka that's been steamed through a tea bag that has juniper berries in it. And people think gin's made from juniper berries, but that's not the case. It's flavored. You start with a neutral spirit like vodka. And then in this little cheesecloth bag, you put juniper berries and cardamom, all these different spices. So when I made our first gin, I went out with my dog in the river valley and started picking Saskatoon berries and started picking wild rose hips and wild rose petals and all the things that grow here. So
you're not kidding, locally made.
Oh, very
That's
locally
pretty
sourced.
Incredible.
And there's actually Canada Food Inspection Agency has foraging protocol that you have to follow when you go do that.
Foraging protocol.
We used to go down south of Hinton into Catamount and pick juniper berries actually in Catamount too.
Wow.
It's a labor of love.
And I didn't know there was foraging protocols.
Yes, there are.
My mom just took a bucket and went and picked Saskatoon.
Well, she's not reselling them.
So she's
safe.
She's safe. She was safe. Okay, this is really incredible. All right, now you got a distillery, but you have more than a distillery.
Now I do.
Now you do.
Back when we started, we had vodka
Yeah.
and gin
Yeah.
and a cream liqueur kind of
Right.
like Bailey's that I
Yes.
called Double Double. I
Much
was actually
better
trying.
than Bailey's, by the way.
I was trying to get sued on that one. I wanted the publicity out of Tim Hortons coming after us, but they didn't.
Double.
Double Double, right?
I love it. Have they trademarked that?
No.
No, okay. You can trademark that. Double,
Yeah, I
double.
know.
Okay.
So we had 3 products
Yeah.
when we opened up, and but some people would come for a little tour, and we show them around, and they didn't like those 3 things. They liked rum, or they
Yeah.
they liked strawberry flavored vodka or something like
Right,
that. So
right.
they would leave our facility empty-handed. I'm like, well, this business model doesn't work. If they took the time and effort to come out here and tour, but they're leaving empty-handed,
Right.
we're going to be broke
Right.
here, right? And so we really decided to go all in on diversifying the products that we make. So we have 86 things we make.
86.
86. And so we've got vodka from wheat, vodka from corn, vodka from potatoes. We have 38 flavored vodkas. Guess what the most popular flavor is?
The garlic.
Garlic vodka.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
For Caesars,
For Caesars.
it's so popular.
Yes. And that's, garlic. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
4 kinds of gin. 5 kinds of whiskey,
Yeah.
amber rum, white rum, spiced rum. We have all liqueurs, schnapses, sambuca, like you name it.
And you
make
distill all of this.
all of it
You
from
make all of
scratch.
it.
Absolutely.
Where do you get your barrels?
Kentucky or Ohio. That's where all of our barrels come out of. And we use 2 different size barrels.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple things I can't get locally, unfortunately. Glass bottles is one of them, and barrels is the other one.
Interesting.
Now, the barrels you get from Kentucky brand new? Or
No, we never use brand new
Right,
barrels.
yeah,
I find
okay.
it makes the whiskey bitter.
Yeah, I watched the
there are some.
documentary. That's
So there are
pretty
some
cool.
distilleries that are using those
Yeah,
barrels
yeah.
successfully. It's just not the way that we've
Right,
done
you
it.
distill,
Our
yeah.
whiskey will come off the still with 2 or 3 flavor characteristics in
Yeah.
the liquid. And then we actually rotate it through 4 different types of barrels over the course of the time that it's aging.
Really?
And 4 different sizes. If I put whiskey in a small 10-gallon barrel instead
Yeah.
of a big 53-gallon one, all the chemistry happens faster. So we get used wheat whiskey barrels, and that barrel's got 2 or 3 flavors in the wood that adds to the 3 flavors that came off the still. And because it's small, when I take it out after 8 months, it looks and tastes like it's been in a big barrel for 3 years. And then we go into a half cask of Ohio bourbon for about 9 months. And when I take it out of there, it's had 3 more flavors added to it. And again, it's like 3 more years in a big barrel. Then we go into a Kentucky bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
And then we finish everything in French sherry cask. So by going from barrel to barrel to barrel, we stack flavors on top of flavors on top of
Okay,
flavors.
This is
folks, all
fascinating.
I have to say is the next time you go to take a sip of some Rig Hand whiskey,
I know, or any of it.
listen. Don't just sip. Like, think about what this is. What this is.
Not many people will go through that process
No.
as distillers because it's very expensive.
I would
Yes.
imagine.
You can't even get those sherry casks. Like,
Yeah.
they're a couple $1,000 if you can find them. And every time you dump it from one barrel to the next, you always spill a little bit. There's something.
Sure.
So, but quality wins, right?
So it's
if
fair
that's
to
what-
say you're not cheaping out.
No, we got to
No,
make
no.
the best quality.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
later on, okay, we got to charge a little more.
Yeah,
than,
yeah.
But we don't have anybody complaining about paying a reasonable price for really good quality,
stuff.
product.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
many people do you employ?
We have 46 people at our
And
distillery.
46 people do all this.
We have 13 are outside salespeople. We've got 5 or 6 that are in admin. We have a restaurant too.
Okay, yeah,
There's
so
5
that-
chefs in the kitchen.
You have a restaurant?
and we have servers. But we also cross train everybody. So like the lady that's running the store, or that's serving your table, also actually goes in the back and puts labels on
Knows
bottles.
how to do it.
and grinds grain and
Right.
cooks mashes and learns how to do everything.
Right. So if something happens and you get backed
I
up,
love that
she
cross-training.
can go.
That's brilliant.
That's part of the reason, but the second part of the reason I do that is I want them to respect what everybody
Right.
else does in this
Right.
chain and understand that every bit of it is important.
Yes.
To me, it's just as important how the grain is cooked
Yes.
as how straight the label is on the
Yeah.
bottle,
Right.
right?
Yes.
When I did my apprenticeship in Ohio, the guy I learned from down there, I was bottling for him one day. The company's called Stillwright's Distillery. On the top of their cap, there was a little S. And so I was bottling, and I was putting the bottles into the case, and he came along behind me, and he turned all
Every
the
one of
bottles
them,
so the
yeah.
S is all
Yes, it's
lined
all
up.
lined up,
And I'm
yeah.
like, why are you doing that? He
Yeah.
goes, because whoever opens that is going to know who put that
What
in
they
that
see.
cares more than the
Yeah.
guy that
Yeah.
didn't do that.
That
So
really
that's
reminds
stuck
me
hard.
of Teresa Spinelli at Italian
Center,
Center.
yeah.
The cashier.
I know,
Everybody
right?
has to be a cashier at some point and
Just-
work through the company type
So
of thing.
everybody understands everybody's role
yeah.
and
Because
appreciates.
you're right. It's more than just it's a getting a feel for how important the things and the values you have are.
It creates respect amongst the team, right? And so a perfect example, I'm telling you how active my brain is. I like doing 19 things at once.
Right.
The people that are in charge of our packaging and quality control, they're there for 8 hours straight, making sure it's exactly 750 milliliters, exactly, there's no bugs floating in there, all these small details, making sure every label's straight. And that's my worst nightmare, to sit and have to do that all day. You know? And what I do is their worst nightmare. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But you gain respect by walking in their shoes.
For sure.
So you have a restaurant, you have the distillery, and then you tell us now you got a petting zoo.
We got an event space. We got a petting zoo.
There we go.
We're doing this weekend for Open Farm Days. We've got Fudland coming out with their mini pony chuck wagon.
Okay, this is big in Alberta, obviously, the chuck wagons, but the mini chuck wagons,
they're growing like crazy, absolutely like crazy. So Geoff Fivland and his family, 3 generations of their family have got this pony circuit going now. I think after they're done with us, they're heading to Ontario to do a demo, actually.
This is incredible.
So if people want to come out and bring their kids, we do get a question all the time, can kids come to your place?
Yes, that's a good question.
We have the type of liquor license we have is kids can be at our facility till 1 a.m. So it's not like the places where at 9 o'clock all the kids have to leave. We wanted to make sure it was family friendly.
They can hang out.
And that if you had a wedding, the kids didn't have to go back to the hotel room at 9 o'clock. Or
so you do weddings, you have weddings, receptions.
Yeah, we have an event space that holds 150 people upstairs. So we had over 700 events there last year. 700. So
that's one busy event planner.
Yes, my poor daughter Sierra is our event coordinator. So here's a typical Saturday morning. Saturday morning at 9 a.m. we have a lovely lady that comes in, Janelle Ford, and she teaches yoga from 9 till 11. And about 40 people participate in her yoga class. And then when they're done, they come downstairs and have brunch and mimosas. And then we set up half the tables in the event space, and we'll have a bridal shower from 1 till 4, and there'll be 60 people in there opening gifts and having appies and drinks. And then at 4, we kick them out, and we set all the tables up and the stage, and we have a seated meal for 120 people with a band that plays till midnight. That's one day. And you did that 700 times last year. And so our event coordinator won an award in Ottawa at the tourism.
Who's your daughter?
Happens to be my daughter, as one of the top event coordinators.
This is amazing.
Actually, I want to circle back to that, because this really is, and we talked about this a little bit, Geoff, before we came on the podcast, about legacy and family business. Your your family is heavily involved in this business.
Heavily involved. So I'd say about 20 of the people of the 46 are my family. My sister runs our sales department. My daughter's our event coordinator. My son works there doing a bunch of book stuff. He's in business. Nieces and nephews have all worked their way through university working for us. So very, very nice to have it be like that. My daughter and son-in-law and 2 of my grandkids live right on the property, actually. So I get to have breakfast with my grandson and granddaughter.
This is like the best of all worlds.
It is. And out in New Brunswick, where my cousin Kevin is, about half the staff out there are our family as well.
You have figured this out.
Most days, yes. So thankfully, I have a family that we all get along with.
So one more thing I want to talk about is your TV show.
Yes.
You have a TV show.
We do,
Like you have something else you do. You have a TV show.
It's called Still Shots. Still Shots. So we saw this Moonshiners TV show that's out there, and like 7 million people a week watch that thing.
I watched it.
And so I thought, it's kind of the dumbest show on TV, it seems like.
I've never watched it.
It was a funny show, actually.
They're hillbillies.
Especially when things blew up.
They blow something up every week. So I never told you this before. We make fun of them on our show. And we end every one of our episodes by randomly blowing something up on purpose with tannerite. Okay, so we've blown up lawn tractors, snowmobiles.
Can I tell you my favorite episode? Maybe you saw it. Was the police sent a drone over to try and find the still. The guy grabs his shot and shot the drone out of the air. I was on the floor howling. I mean, it was so funny. So anyway, the fact that you blow something up is incredible. I love it.
Well, we thought if we can poke some fun at them and they notice us, maybe some of those 7 million people watch our show.
That's why they had 7 million viewers, was to see what would blow up this week. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we.
It's like a reality show.
It's a reality show.
Yeah.
Like what? It's not staged like that one is. We
Yeah.
show our farmers, and
Yeah.
we've got our 4th generation farmer, and he talks about his farm where we get our barley from,
Yeah.
and he's got his
Yeah.
little boy there that can't wait to take the farm over.
Okay.
We'll show a bit about what we do, and
Sure.
mashing and whatnot, but we'll also show one of the pubs or restaurants that serves our stuff, or one of the charities that we donate. So
Right.
it's more like a community program,
Yeah.
and we filmed a 7-episode pilot season, and then we shopped it to CBC and CTV and Global, and they all wanted it.
Yeah.
Because it's local content,
Right.
and it's Canadian content.
And who
which
ended
we
up
need.
with it?
Global
ended up,
had it, yeah. So we did 3 years with them. We're up for renewal now, so
Yeah.
we just got to. I'm sure we will.
Sure.
Last season we were the highest ranked show on Saturday
Again,
afternoons.
surpassed Property Brothers.
Property
as
We
in-
beat Property Brothers.
Lost out to you. Fantastic. Okay, that's awesome. Okay,
And a
good.
lot of times you spend money on advertising, whether
Yeah.
it's radio or print
Yes.
media.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's actually
yeah,
a
we
return
talked
on
about that.
investment,
That's
but
the way to
here
do
you
it.
see ratings, and you're like, here's 240,000 people watched
Yeah.
this last Saturday. It's like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
And outside of Canada, it streams on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And after the first year with Global, we're allowed to put it up on YouTube and all that too. So
okay.
you could go on YouTube and
Yeah,
watch
find the
some of the old
episodes. Okay.
episodes. It's kind
Check
of
it
cool.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, wow, I'm exhausted just...
Well, there's more.
Okay, well, I was going to say, okay, so tell me,
16 other companies we manufacture and co-pack for. We teach courses. We sell equipment. We do consulting services to help other distilleries start. Of the 65 distilleries in Alberta, we help 27 of them get off the ground and get started.
Wow.
We farm the land ourselves.
Yeah.
My neighbor lets me use his combine in the fall, which
Yeah.
is really cool
Yeah.
because I can't afford that $1 million combine that he
for
has.
sure, yeah.
But and we've got part of the reason we have the petting zoo is to dispose of some of our waste. So
Right.
when we're done with our mash, we got to find a pig farmer
Right.
to take it. Well, let's just
Well,
get
you
our
go.
own pigs. So
Yeah,
we have our own pigs, we have our goats, we have our chickens. The kitchen keeps all the scraps, feeds them on the farm. So,
Right.
And it's nice for us to be able to have a place that people that didn't have the opportunity to grow up on a farm, like I was able to,
Can check it out.
Maybe they lived in an apartment their whole life in the
Oh,
city.
yeah.
They can bring their family out,
the best.
spend the afternoon,
Yeah.
have a nice meal.
Yeah.
The kids can play on the playground. They can scratch a goat's nose and pick a carrot out of the ground,
Oh,
and
man.
have a little bit of a farm experience.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so we got to wind down here.
Oh man.
What? I'm curious, as your brain goes a million miles an hour, what are you dreaming about?
What's next?
What's next?
What's
what do you
next?
that you're not doing that you're dreaming about that you want to do?
My job is to develop export markets for the
Okay.
business.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
up and running. Our team does an excellent job.
Yeah.
The quality's always the same.
Yeah.
Everything's out the door right. We need to expand outside of Alberta. And
Right.
we have a big problem doing that within Canada. The premiers were having their
yeah.
meetings
because
here.
you can't sell cross border.
cross-
right?
cross-border.
And they did a big announcement 2 weeks ago
This
saying,
is the
"Hey,
most
we removed it."
ridiculous thing I've
They
ever
didn't
heard
remove
in
it.
my life.
It's
Yeah.
not true.
Which I don't.
It's not
No,
true.
well-
What they removed was, I can ship to you at your house
Right.
in Nova Scotia.
Right.
Right.
I can ship to you at your house in
Right.
Ontario.
Yeah.
What they didn't remove, what we've been asking for 12 years,
Yeah.
is let me ship to a liquor
Liquor
store
store,
or
sure.
a bar or
Yeah,
a restaurant
so they can
Right.
sell your
that'll
product.
resell it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the reason they won't agree is tax.
Tax.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it gets
I make the
bad.
stuff here in Alberta, and that bottle of vodka has combined tax $17.52 tax on it. Okay? And I ship it to Nova Scotia. So the Alberta government figures, okay, it's made here, we're entitled to the tax. They have to split some of it
Yeah,
with the federal
yeah.
government, but that's fine. But the Nova Scotia government said, no, it was purchased in Nova Scotia, so the Nova Scotia government should get the tax.
Right.
So this is kind of what the crux of the problem
Right,
is.
right.
And to me, there's a 5-year-old in the playground sandbox solution. You get half, and
You
you
get
get half.
half.
It's not hard.
Okay, Dale now.
Just standardize it.
Minister of Red Tape Reduction. This sounds like a red tape thing.
You know,
and I
he's done
probably
so
on
much
it.
for us.
Yeah,
It's
so Minister,
unbelievable.
we
Yes.
need you to keep pushing on this.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because this is really key.
It's key.
And so,
it's
you know,
sad that I can ship it to Japan
Right, but
easier
you
than
can't,
but you
within
I can't get it
our
to
own
BC.
country.
I can't go to BC.
I know.
It
It's
makes
crazy.
no sense.
Yeah, and that, I don't like it because it sets actually a precedent. There are other things that fall under the same guidelines or the same jurisdiction and rules, and I don't like it. And we need to stop it. And we need to.
It's not helping us
Canada,
grow our own
especially right
economy.
now. We want to keep Canada going.
Right.
Let's sell our stuff
Absolutely.
border to border. Share it from every province, not just Alberta, but other. Ontario stuff coming here and BC stuff coming here. I just don't get it. So
I know. I'm with you. Yeah.
We got to keep working on
This
that
is
one.
how we get more united.
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
Absolutely.
100%.
Huge
This-
opportunity.
For
Yeah,
sure.
next article I'm writing on, that's going to be it right there.
Okay, today.
Actually, I submitted mine already. I might take that back and write another one because now that I know more about this, I got to keep going. Anyway, this is amazing. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, but we have a final
question.
We
Final.
ask all of our
Every
guests.
guest, yeah.
Yes. Jeff, what is the best piece of advice you have been given, either personally or professionally, that you carry with you to this day?
My goodness. I think business-wise, when you decide and you've done all your research and you're ready to start the business, don't just dip your toe in, jump with both feet.
Yeah,
When I took that course in Seattle, at the end of the course, there was an image that they had printed, and it was a picture of a cliff diver, and it said, "Entrepreneur jumps off a cliff, figures out how to build a plane on the way down." So
Absolutely.
if you don't have any option to bail out,
Yeah.
you won't bail out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you're gonna go all
I
in.
love it.
That would be my
I love
advice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can I ask you, and I know we're almost wrapping up here, but I'm sure not everything worked. There were some failures.
Absolutely.
What'd you do with the failures?
Don't get mired in the negative side of it.
Yeah.
Look at it as a learning opportunity.
Right.
So that, okay, I'm going to learn as much from this lawsuit about the name as I
Right.
possibly can, so
Right.
that if this ever happens again, I know how to deal with it
Right.
better. And put your energy and your time and your money into positive things.
Yeah, I like
Don't get caught in this
good.
negativity
Yeah.
spiral.
good.
Absolutely.
It's really easy to get wrapped up that
Good.
way.
You got a book coming?
I did about a year and a half ago.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, Be Badass: The Secret of Success.
Right on.
Co-wrote with Jackie Fensky from Fife and Nickel Car Shop
yeah,
with
yeah,
a few
yeah.
others. Yeah,
It's on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. We when we launched it, we bumped Trump out of the first place with Art of the Deal as a bestseller.
Okay, that's part 2 of the podcast. But anyways,
So, Jeff, tell us where you are
Yeah.
located now, where people can find you.
So if you want to come for a visit, when you head out to the Edmonton International Airport, instead of heading west towards the airport, just turn east and go 4 kilometers, and we're just off Airport Road.
what's your hours?
We're open Tuesday through Sunday,
Yeah.
10 a.m. till 9 p.m.
Okay.
We're kind of closed on Mondays,
Yeah,
but,
no,
but the store's open. The
Yeah,
restaurant's
yeah.
closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights we have live country music.
Okay.
Wednesday nights we have an Indigenous consultant that comes in and teaches in the teepee on our property about Indigenous history.
Yeah.
On Thursday nights we have karaoke, but it's got to be different. So it's family karaoke. You can bring your kids. And then Fridays and Saturdays we do lots of group tours.
Yeah.
So come on out for a tour anytime. And on Sundays we do a neat thing. We do something called Toast and Jam. So we do brunch from 10 till 2.
Yeah.
And at noon, anybody that plays musical instruments pulls out their guitars and
Yeah,
harmonicas and fiddles, and we have a big jam session from noon until 2. So always activities
Yeah,
going
something
on.
going on.
Check our website,
Yeah, give us your
righanddistillery.com, and you see all the
All
events
your
that are coming
social
up.
medias.
And we can ship online, too, if you
Yeah.
want to shop on there and not come for a visit. I might deliver it to your door, even.
Wow.
Perfect.
That'd be awesome.
I
You
know.
showed up at my door, we'd crack it open right there. And
Well, this
anyway.
thing's sitting on the table there. We haven't cracked it yet.
This has
It's about
been great.
time.
Man, oh man, if you ain't inspired by this one, folks, I don't know what'll get you going, but what a great story. Fantastic story. Jeff, you're an amazing guy. You've done some amazing
I've got
stuff.
an amazing team around me.
Yeah.
You don't do this by yourself.
No, you
No,
don't.
absolutely
But every
not.
good team needs a good leader, and obviously you're...
And I love these local Alberta stories.
Yeah, they're the best. They really are the best.
The heart and soul, right?
This is why Alberta is such a great province, and why we need to just, like you say, everybody needs to know about what we do and just unify it through the great things that we do and keep it doing. Thanks, everybody. Hey, thanks, Wing Snob.
Yes.
You're awesome.
www.wingsnob.ca.
Just got a text from Mike Chatty. You got to check that out while we're doing this
Maybe he's
here.
gonna be offering us wings
maybe
for
he's
lunch.
offered us wings for lunch. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Wing Snob. And listen, everybody, tell everybody about this podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies. If you don't have any friends,
Take them to Rig Hand.
take them to Rig Hand, make a friend, just so that you can tell them about this, and then they'll listen to the podcast
Exactly.
and wherever you get your podcasts, or at www.coffeeinthepark.com.
Not CA.
That's right. That's
Com.
where you can hear us. And first of all, I want to say thanks, listeners. You're awesome.
You are.
Our numbers keep going up.
That's right.
Secondly, check us out on Instagram. Lots of cool stuff. And thirdly, just subscribe,
Subscribe.
so that you get us every week, and appreciate you all. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.